Okay, Michaela, one second.
How's it?
How's it? Hope you're good. Okay, so Michaela, I mean, I guess just before we start, can you maybe give an overview of kind of the track to dentistry, how the degree works, how many years of studying, honors, postgrads, and so on and so forth? How does kind of the whole process of becoming a dentist work?
Okay, so basically, there's two ways in which people normally get into dentistry. So either you get in on first go, and that's how, that's if you get lucky, and that's how you do it. Like, that's not the normal way to do it. However, a lot of people, because the degree at Wits is so limited and there's only 40 spots, they do recommend that you do maybe a degree beforehand. So for me personally, I did a Bachelor of Health Sciences for 1 year beforehand, and then I was able to reapply and get in after completing my first year of Bachelor of Health Sciences. So those are the two options. And then it's 5 years. And then after your 5 years, you do have to do your community service. And after that, then you can go into a specialization. And a specialization can range between 2 to 5 years. So, yeah.
Okay, thanks. So, Michaela, in regard to then dentistry, there are a lot of health sciences degrees that seem to overlap. Does dentistry fall into the fact that you do a lot of similar subjects to other degrees, and does that mean you can move across, or is it very specialized from the get-go?
So the big thing about dentistry at Wits is that it's the only degree that first year you don't do chemistry, physics, and biology. You get thrown in, you start with your dental subjects, you start with anatomy and physiology, where those subjects are normally a second year subject. So that's why it's like when you do a back routing degree, you have to be cognizant of the fact that you're not going to get credits unless you have completed anatomy and physiology, but anatomy and physiology on a level that is accepted. Because a lot of the time you get people that maybe do anatomy and physiology in nursing, and that isn't acceptable, but anatomy and physiology maybe coming from medicine or Bachelor of Health Sciences is accepted. So, yeah.
So in that case, I mean, it's quite a specialized degree from the get-go if you're studying it straight. From your experience, what % of your class is doing it as a first degree, and what % of your class has finished and is now finally got in through the back route? And which route would you recommend for someone aspiring to be a dentist?
So in my class, there's only 7 people that have come in from matric. So I know there's 17,000 applications that are sent into Wits dental school per year for first year. And out of those 17,000, we only have 40 spaces. And those 40 spaces, we have 7 matrics. The 20 other people in my degree already have degrees. So we've got someone that has a master's of physiology and someone that has a BCom law. And then the rest of us are coming in from a previous degree and haven't completed the degree. I didn't hear what your last part of your question was. Was it something about the back route? Sorry.
Just would you recommend for someone who's aspiring to be a dentist, if they can't do it straight, or would you recommend first they do the back route and then move into dentistry?
So I do recommend just trying it out and just seeing if you can get in first time lucky. Like, you never know. Like, obviously, if your marks are fantastic and your MBTs are out of this world, like, it doesn't hurt in applying. But you also have to be cognizant of the fact that you need to have that back route plan in place just in case. You need to have that. That's why I do highly recommend going either through a degree that does offer APES chemistry and physics, because it is very similar to the matric. Like, when I went in for my interview, that's the thing, is that when you back route, it's not you back route and you reapply. You actually have to go in for an interview. So when I went in for my interview, they were very happy that I did a degree that had the physics, the chemistry, and the biology in it. So I do recommend that. So, yeah.
All right, a question here from someone in the panel. If anyone wants to ask questions, they're always welcome to ask in the chat. The question is, when you finish your degree, do you have to do community service after you graduate in order to fully qualify as a dentist?
Yes, so you do have to do community service. So community service, basically, for the first 7 weeks of your community service, you basically get plopped onto this train and it takes you across the country for 7 weeks, and you go to all these different clinics and all over, and you go and fix people's teeth, and you go and help and you go do your community dentistry and all of that. So that's those first 7 weeks. Then after that, you'd go and continue and do where your placement is at for the remaining part of the year. And then after that, you're able to either go and practice as a dentist, or you're like a regular dentist, which is amazing about the degree, is that you come out qualified as a dentist. You can go work in a clinic, you can go work in your own practice. But if you want to specialize, which everyone probably wants to do, or most people want to do, then you still can go and specialize after that.
What opportunities do a specialization allow you in the degree?
So there's lots. So you can go into maxillofacial surgery, prosthodontics, orthodontics. I'm just thinking on the top of my head. You can go into community dentistry. You can go into you can go into you just with this degree, because you're learning in such fine detail about your face. You can it's doing at the map, you now into doing procedure. You not just limited in also a section history only actually. You have to look at your neck, you have to look at your head, you have to look at every aspect to it in order to gain a diagnosis. That's why I also think that with the specializations, it's so yeah.
Michaella, I think your Wi-Fi, it might be mine, but if anyone else heard, I think your Wi-Fi might have wigged out for a second. If you can just repeat the last couple of lines of what you said, sorry, just so we can all hear it.
Oh, sorry, okay, sorry. Basically, I'm just trying to think, but the whole thing is that with dentistry is that people think you're just limited to the mouth, but because we study the head and neck in such fine detail, you have so many opportunities, specifically in aesthetics, because a lot of the dentists, they do generally specialize in prosthodontics or periodontics or whatever as the basic specialization, or they'll go into maxillofacial surgery, which is only 2 spots for the entire country to apply to. But the nice thing is that by learning the head and the neck, we're able to go into aesthetics, and you're able to start doing like in the chair nose jobs and the fillers and all that type of thing. So the world is your oyster when regards to what you're able to do. You're not just limited to the mouth. So yeah, I hope that was clear.
Yes, thank you. And then, sorry, just one more question. A lot of obviously medical degrees require quite a fair amount of time in hospitals or practicing. What would you say % of your degree is theoretical learning versus actual time spent in hospitals working and practicing?
So the majority of my degree, every single day, I'm going into Charlotte, my KK hospital. That's where I am. That's where we are. We are literally in the depths of Charlotte. We're in Yellow Block. We are working in the clinic. You are there every day. Obviously now, because with everything that's going on in COVID, a lot of our learning subjects are online. So we like a lot of the theory stuff is taught online, such as dental materials, but all the practical stuff and things that we have to be hands-on for are all done in person. So you go in, you're working with the people, you're working with the patients, you're seeing everything, and that's an amazing thing, is that we very much engaged with what's happening. So I'm just trying to think, sorry. But yeah, we very much in the clinics, we're there. Like, I go in at least 3 times a week to the clinic, to, regardless if it's there, like personally, we're there from 7 till 6 once a week. And then during the week, you like pop in, you grab a bite block, you grab your denture, you go and practice, you take an impression, you do what you need to do. So it's very nice to be in person during these crazy times of COVID, because you're there, you're making friends, you're meeting your patients as well.
All right, thank you. And then just very quickly, Michaella, I know there's been a bit of an incident at the moment with dentistry and first years. I know they're in the middle of resolving it, but just correct me if I'm wrong. At the moment, there isn't expected to be, in the upcoming year, a first year class of dentistry for vets.
Yeah. So currently there is a lot of uproar happening in the dental school. Basically, it all it's multifaceted, and the whole thing about them not having first years for next year is that in 2018 they accepted too many people into the degree. So that's where it all stems from. And the main reason why they're not accepting first years is because our year has been extended. However, I think this gives people an amazing opportunity if they don't get into, obviously they won't be able to get into dentistry for 2022. However, if they don't get into dentistry at Tux or UWC or wherever, they now have this amazing opportunity to go and start their back route into Wits dentistry. So I think instead of looking at the glass half full, it being like people know they're not having a first year, fine, whatever, I think people need to look at this as an amazing opportunity, as if, fine, I might not be able to get in there now, but this gives me an opportunity to go and pursue a back route degree to get in.
All right, awesome. Michaella, thank you so much for joining us. If anyone has any questions, I'm sure she will be happy to answer them in the time being. We're running a bit behind schedule, so straight away I'm going to welcome Pnina Herring. Pnina is currently studying her honours in Physiology. She has completed a Bachelor of Health Sciences Pnina, can you hear me? Are you with us?
Yeah, Ben, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, awesome. So Pnina, why don't you tell us a bit about your journey, how you ended up in a Bachelor of Health Sciences, just a bit about the degree, what you did, how long it takes, and so on and so forth.
Sure. Thank you for having me, first of all. Okay, so a Bachelor of Health Sciences at Wits is a 3-year degree, and there's 3 tracks to a Bachelor of Health Sciences. There's the biomedical track, the biokinetics track, and the health system sciences track. I personally did the biomedical track, where in first year you start with your basic sciences, your physics, chemistry, do some biology, as well as public health and health system dynamics. And then in second year of the biomedical track, you move on to anatomy, physiology, molecular medicine. And in the final year, in your third year, you pick 2 majors from a choice of 5. So I chose to do physiology and pharmacology, but the other choices are human anatomy, molecular medicine, and medical cell biology. The reason why I did a Bachelor of Health Sciences is because I didn't get into medicine first route. My first choice was to do medicine, but Bachelor of Health Sciences is a very good back route into medicine. And the reason for that is there's a program at Wits called the GEMP program, the Graduate Entry Medical Program, where you can move into third year medicine if you have an undergraduate degree. And a bonus for doing the Bachelor of Health Sciences route is that this entry route into medicine requires you to write a test called the WAPT. Now, the content for the WAPT is actually covered in the second year of the undergraduate degree that I did. So if you do a Bachelor of Health Sciences, you're basically doing the test and you're being taught the lecture material, whereas other people who apply from other universities or doing other routes have to self-study anatomy, physiology, and molecular medicine, which is much harder if you have to study it yourself versus being lectured by a lecturer. So that's the reason why I did my degree and the pros of it. And just to quickly, I guess, I can speak about the other tracks if people are interested. So I know that the biokinetics track is a bit less intense content-wise, and you can become a biokineticist if you take that route. it's the same application process. So if you're applying to WIT, you still apply for a Bachelor of Health Sciences. You just have to check, like you have to decide which route, which track you're going to do. And health system sciences, if anyone's interested, is very cool. It's got to do with public health, which is a very current and emerging sect of medicine. Public health has to do with managing hospitals, like systems management, public policies, and all different things like that, which are very necessary and important positions in society, but I guess less spoken about. People often know about the doctors, the scientists, but public health positions are also really important. And if I can also say, people often ask me, like, what can you do with a Bachelor of Health Sciences if you don't want to get into medicine? So not everyone who does the degree wants to do medicine, but it's a great degree if you want to become a scientist, a physiologist, an immunologist, a virologist, someone who is super interested in science and wants a background of science in order to make a difference in this world from a specific scientific niche. So I can talk more about that if people have questions, but you can become a microbiologist, even like a scientific journalist. And there's different honors degrees that are available. You could even do health law and bioethics. So those are all the options.
Thank you. Pnina, can I ask you, I mean, it sounds amazing and sounds like there's unlimited opportunities. Did you need any subjects in matric in order to actually get into health sciences in the first place?
Yes, so you have to do one of the sciences, either biology or physical science. I would recommend doing both in order to get in. But let's say, for example, if you didn't do biology, life sciences in school, in first year, there is a subject which is very similar to biology. It's like next level from bio in school. So you can catch it up. It's a possibility to do the degree coming in with just physical science or just life science, but it's advisable to do both.
And I know a lot of a lot of health sciences require NBTs. Are NBTs a requirement?
Yes, for sure. NBTs are. You have to do the maths lit and maths as well as the English papers.
Okay, so you mentioned that you went into the health sciences to get into medicine through the GEM program. And you also mentioned that there are countless opportunities kind of outside the classic medicine route. But can you maybe just give a bit of a description of how that GEM program works or how the system works? Can people apply to medicine and this? To kind of, just what's the thinking behind that for those who maybe want to get into medicine and don't get in on their first attempt?
For sure. So how I'd advise you to do it is apply for medicine adverts as well as a Bachelor of Health Sciences. So that, like, if medicine is your first choice, this is a great backup option. How it works is, so Bachelor of Health Sciences is an undergraduate degree. So if you, like, please God, get in, you finish the 3 years and you graduate. And then in your third year of the degree, you need to apply for medicine as an undergrad. You apply on the self-service portal as you would do if you were a first year and you're applying for an undergraduate degree. And yeah, I mean, so if you do a Bachelor of Health Sciences to get into medicine, you don't have to write the WAPT as long as you get over 60% for all your subjects in second year. If you don't get over 60% in second year, then you do have to write the WAPT test, but you'll have the background of the lectures and access to the information. If, let's say, you wanted to do a BSc biology, or even like if you wanted to do a BCom and do the GEMP route into medicine or law, anything, a BA, you can also apply for GEMP at the end of your undergrad, and you'll be applying for third year medicine, but then you'll have to write the WAPT test. So the WAPT test, you have to be invited from WIT, like you'll receive an email once you've applied saying that you're invited to write the WAPT test or you're not invited to write the WAPT test. And before you write that, you'll have to study anatomy, physiology, as well as molecular medicine. And then that test, once you've passed that test, it doesn't matter the mark that you get on that test. It's not like if you get 95 for that test, you're a sure-in for medicine. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. That test is a requirement to be eligible to go into third year medicine because it's the second year and first year content work. So it proves that you can handle third year medicine. So you'll have to write that test and then pass that as a requirement. And then the ultimate factor to get into medicine is if the last 2 years that you've studied are better than other people's. I mean, it's a very rough process, but it's all comparative. So unfortunately, I can't say, oh, if you have enough APS points you can get in, or if you've got an average of 75, you can get in. Every year it changes because it's so competitive and there's such smart people fighting for the spots.
All right, Pnina, thank you so much. As always, fantastic. If anyone wants more information on health sciences, I'm sure Pnina will be glad to, you can reach out to her. I'm sure she'll be glad to answer and help you out. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Our next speaker is Alex Cohen. Alex Cohen is currently studying her 4th year of occupational therapy at UCT. Alex, are you with us?
I'm here. Thanks, Ben. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone. So yeah, as Ben said, I'm in my final year of BHSc Occupational Therapy at the University of Cape Town. So I just thought I'd come on here and just tell you some of the things that I wish I knew, because I didn't know much about the degree when I was coming in. So just thought maybe I could share just some about the information about the course like each year. So in first year, you do like a general OT course. It's a very like philosophical course. Many people just think like, what are we doing? But it's just the grounding, and it really gets so much better. And then you do anatomy and physiology and psychology. And then you do like a course with other health science degrees to like prepare you to become a health professional. And then in second year, you do an OT course again, and this is really based on all the assessment methods that you'll use to assess a patient. And then you do psychology for 6 months again, and you do anatomy for a full year. And then you do clinical science for the full year, which is like all about different diagnoses. And then you also do psychiatry. And then in your third year, you do 3 OT courses, and third year is really at UCT is really based on physical health and mental health. And then you do 2 languages, Afrikaans and isiXhosa, and then you do your research and you start your thesis. And then in fourth year, you do 2 OT courses and you do research as well. The OT courses in fourth year are centered around pediatrics, the work practice domain and community development. And then you do research and you submit your thesis. So just something like everyone wants to know like about the practicals in occupational therapy. So your practicals at UCT really start from first year. So in first year, you do like once a week for 5 weeks, you go to a placement either in pediatrics or work practice. And then in second year, you do visits to like mental health institutions and also to rehab centers to like practice your assessments for mental health and physical health. And then from third year and fourth year, you're really doing mostly rotations. So in third year, you do 4 rotations, 2 in the mental health domain and 2 in the physical health domain. So when I say that, I mean like physical health is either your acute hospitals or your rehabilitation centers, and mental health would be your psych wards or psychiatric institutions or homes for intellectual disabilities. And then so you do 5 weeks of rotation, 5 weeks of theory, 5 weeks of rotation, 5 weeks of theory, and so on. And then in fourth year, you basically do 3 rotations and they're 7 weeks each, and you only do theory on a Friday. So you do pediatrics, and then you do work practice, and then you do community development. So I think what is an important thing to say, which I wish I knew, I also asked my friends that are studying with me, like, what do they wish they knew? It's just like OT is not just pediatrics. I know when we all in matric, we think like that's how we know it, like school-based OT, but really it's so broad. And at UCT, you really get exposed to all 5 domains. So pediatrics, physical health, mental health, community development, and work practice. So work practice is like working in vocational rehab or supportive employment or doing functional capacity evaluations. And yeah, I think something I really love, I don't know about the OT degrees at other institutions, but I really loved being at UCT for the diversity, the student experience. It really pushes you outside of your comfort zone. Also at UCT, a lot of the other students aren't from Cape Town, so you really like you're all in it together, everyone's away from home, and it's a really small degree, so everyone really becomes like family. I think that UCT was the perfect balance between practicals and theory, and like I really do feel ready to start working next year. And they kind of teach you in a non-diagnostic way, so that if you like see dysfunction, you can treat it without needing to treat the diagnosis itself. I think that the lectures are very hands-on, and they're very involved. They get to know you as a person, not just like a student number. It's a lot. One thing, like it's very taxing academically, and you might spend a lot of your time just studying, like, and you see your other friends not doing that. But I think if you're really passionate about it, like it's okay. I think what else I could say is that, or like in terms of being Jewish in UCTOT, I think this is an important point. Like there really aren't a lot of Jews in the health science faculty at UCT, and I feel like you really need to advocate for yourself, like to miss for Jewish holidays and those things. So that's something I just learned. And I just, yeah, like I really think it was all encompassing. I wouldn't change a thing. I would go back and do it all over again. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really open to any questions or to chatting to anyone about it. If anyone wants my number, I can hand it over. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Alex. Maybe just some more, let's call them admin questions. For starters, what are the entry requirements to get into occupational therapy? So as an example, do you need a sciences? I know UCT requires NBTs for basically everything. How does that work?
Okay, so you either need maths or maths lit, and then you either need life sciences or physical sciences. And then for UCT, so you need your NBTs as well. UCT works out like a point system where they take in account diversity, backgrounds, and all of those things. So depending on what type of school you went to, depending on income and those type of factors, it really it makes it vary on what your marks need to be like. So for me, my marks need to be really high, and it was like yeah, it kind of works like that at UCT. If you come from a really good school, your religion, your race, and those things. But yeah, I would say try to get as high marks as possible, and your MBTs are really important. I think like you don't really like you need science or biology. I wouldn't say like you need one over the other, because they both come in first year. So and you can always catch it up.
All right, thank you. If anyone has any questions for Alex, now would be a time to ask them, either in the chat or you can unmute yourself.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, like, if you don't do very well in your NBTs, will they instantly basically reject you, or yeah, like what do you do?
Okay, so I actually redid my MBTs. I think like there's no harm in redoing your MBTs. I did it like quite late even, and they really suggested I did. I didn't even do that badly, but like just to get a higher mark. I don't know how it works now, because obviously that was like 5 years ago. But I know UCT really takes them into account. But I guess if your other marks are really high, they might still look at you. But yeah, I would have a look at the point system. It's very different to how WITS works. And even give them a call. Like that's what I would do.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Alex, and then maybe just kind of also, like I said, you studied at UCT, moving out of the Joburg community. How did you find kind of student life moving away from the city that you were born in, not necessarily with the parental support? How was that whole experience, especially at UCT?
Yeah, I would really recommend it. Like, I know it's always so difficult, like going out of your nest and like where you feel most comfortable, but like there really is a supportive Jewish community here. There's like Chabad on campus, which are so supportive. They really help you get onto your feet for the first year, like the whole year. Like you go Shabbos there, and they really like help you celebrate the Chagim. And I think that I know it's so comfortable in our little Jewish bubble, but like it's also like I found like I'm so grateful to have been pushed out a bit. And like, I mean, I'm only one of 2 Jews in my class, so I really have been forced to get out of my comfort zone and meet new people, discover like other cultures, learn about other religions, but still being supportive in my own religion by those around me. And I think like obviously the parental support, like I think you use the support of your friends, and obviously like I'm sure your parents are still available, like just a call away. But I really think it's important, like, to learn how to live on your own and to like have that independence.
All right. Well, Alex, thank you so much. Like you said, if anyone needs to reach out to you and would like some more questions, I'm sure you'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah.
We'll share all your information.
I'll post my number in the chat, please. If you want to chat anytime, you can just message me. Thanks so much for having me.
Alex, thank you so much for joining us. Now to maybe give the Joburg perspective on occupational therapy, we have Lee Rosendorff, who is studying. She's currently in second year at Wits. Lee, can you hear us? Are you with us?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
See me?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Thanks. Okay, so hi guys. Yeah, I'm studying in second year at Wits right now. So basically, I just heard like a little bit of like when I just came on, like about what it's like at UCT in Cape Town, like what OT is like, and basically some reason like why I decided to go into OT and like what I've gained from it so far. So I finished school and I decided that I was taking a gap year. I didn't do so well in matric, so that's also something. And I actually wrote NBT 6 months after school, and my NBTs were okay as well. And basically with my NBT marks and my matric marks, somehow I got into university at Wits, yeah. And like my marks weren't so great. Like obviously it's important to work hard for them, but at the same time, like you're doing your NBTs, you're applying, you do job shadowing, and you just kind of see what the degree involves and like to get in. So basically at Wits, there's about 70 people that start off the degree, majority of which are girls. I think in my class I have 4 or 5 guys. So that's also something. There's like a lot of girls in the degree. And what's really nice about OT specifically at Wits, from what I've gained from it, is there's quite a big Jewish presence there. And I say this because, so first year, you kind of start off with the physios. So in first year, OT and physio, we take 4 out of the 5 subjects together. So subjects we take chemistry, physics, we take like biology, it's called APES, psychology, and then in the second semester you do sociology instead of APES, which is kind of like life orientation but a bit advanced. And then we take like, I do OT and the physios do physio. So we were with them kind of for first year and second year. We take 2 out of 3 subjects together, and then third year we take 1, and then fourth year we're on our own. So what's really nice is every year, like there's always Jews in physio or in OT, and it kind of like starting off, like it's comfortable, kind of, we all just like merge together. And now we've like broken off a bit, like we have friends from like different religions, from different spaces, but it was really nice to start off the year just kind of like with people that like were familiar, were similar. Like I went to Torrey Academy there. I'm like really good friends with girls from like King David Linksfield, Victory Park, Hirsch Lions. There's all different schools, all different people that like start off. So that's what's really nice about like you like Wits specifically, as well. Like literally, it's the funniest thing. You kind of like when you start off, you'll get like notes passed down. I think I have notes from someone from like 8 years ago, and everyone just adds to the pile of notes, adds to like the books, and you kind of like people just pass them down to the years. Like I got books from someone else and then I gave them to someone, and someone's like, okay, how much can I pay you for them for like all the first year things? And I'm like, no, like they're just passed down. And if you need anyone to chat to, like, here's my number. I'm like, I spoke to this person in second year and third year. And so it's kind of like in the health sciences, in OT and physio, there's kind of like a little community, which is like, that's something that's special, I think, to Wits, is that there are a lot of Jewish people that do it. So I'm actually with 2 Jewish girls. Physio has 8 people. The year above me, there's like 7 or something. So that's just something that's really nice about it. Okay, now like a bit of the degree. So first year, I was on campus for like 5 weeks, and then we went online. And basically, I took physics at school. I took science, like which I got physics and chemistry, but I didn't do biology. So it was a bit difficult, like the biology aspect of it. So like if you're doing one of the sciences, like it's fun, like you kind of just work through the other one. But that was like a bit difficult to just like get into that, but like it's a challenge, and like that's what university is kind of. So we did those subjects. Like psychology is so interesting, and OT was something that it's kind of funny, like when you're going into studying OT, like no one really understands fully like what the degree is. Like I'm in second year, I know some in fourth year, like we're kind of still figuring out what exactly like the degree is, in the sense that it's so broad and it's so interesting, like it covers so many aspects. And so it's kind of just like an open, like it's just very interesting, like every year, every lesson, like you're learning something new as to what an OT does. So going into OT, I decided I want to help people, I want to work with people, and I found like OT. And like some of the things that we do, for example, the way that they teach us is like you're learning to like fine motor skills, gross motor skills, like big things, movements, slower movements. You're assessing patients. We work with like psych, so like patients who are just had a patient, like a schizophrenic patient. I worked with someone who was paraplegic. Like you work with like very different people, and it's kind of like for you going into it, for whoever goes into it, you kind of like there's so many options as to what you want to specialize into, what you want to do, that it kind of like there's options for like everyone, kind of, you could say. So basically like in first year, what they do is they kind of just give you a foundation as to what OT is. So like we kind of like learned how to do things in order to teach other people. So like, for example, you'll do sewing with someone as a therapy for them to like use their fingers and for them to like be working and doing something. So we learned sewing. We did, we basically had to make like an educational toy out of waste materials. And that was something like we looked around the house, what are materials we could use and make something for someone else that like helps them. For example, if you were to go into a township and people don't have so much, then like they teach us how to like think creatively in helping other people, which is like such an interesting way to like change your perspective of thinking. And that's something that's so special about the lecturers, is they really like, they want to think, they want to explain, they want to like do all those like things and like teach us how to do things. So that's basically like a bit of like the OT department. They are a bit difficult with communication, I will say it. Like the OT department at Wits is just known to like not be so great with communication. But what's really nice is that the people that are studying there, it's very crazy. Like you leave school, you leave your bubble of school and you come to a degree where there's people that are thinking the same as you. There's people that want to do the same thing as you. They want to help people. They want to work with people. And it's like, you kind of make that connection and bond. Like I've got so many friends from like these non-Jewish girls, these like, they ask me questions about Judaism. They're so interested. And like, we have so many common interests. Like I'll go out for drinks with them. We're like really friendly. And like, it's so nice to have that there's people with common interests and common grounds to you, yet they're so different from you. So that's also something that I just love about the degree. So that's, yeah. So then this year, in second year, we basically do anatomy and physiology, which is like we do dissections and we do body systems, which is something that is very challenging. Like it is something that we, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. The OT aspect of it is more like chilled, you could say, in this year than like those other subjects. But at the same time, like the friends you make, the community you make with the OTs, everyone's there to help each other. Everyone, like before the test, we're all sitting, chatting to each other, explaining how to do this, how this works. And like, I can honestly say like majority of the degree, they're just like nice, good people, like who want to be there, want to help. So that's something that I just love about like the department and the group that I'm in. So that's just like a bit of like, yeah, if anyone has any questions on anything, feel free to ask.
Lee, just maybe some more housework questions. For starters, what do you need in order to actually gain entry into occupational therapy? So do you need science? Do you need biology? Do you need NBTs? So since it's a health science degree at Wits, you do need NBTs. And you needed to have taken one of the sciences, and maths is, I think, I'm pretty sure, I stand to be mistaken, I stand to be corrected on that. But so you do need one of the sciences. It obviously does help if you've done both of the sciences.
It just because like then you won't be struggling with any of the subjects, but that is like, yeah, you need one of them. Does anyone have any questions? And I'm also happy if anyone wants to message me or get my number, ask me questions. I'm so happy to share and just give more as to what it's been like and just explain a bit of what else we do. But yeah.
How important is NBTs?
Okay, so what they say is they weigh NBTs 50-50. So your matric marks and your NBTs. That's how they say that they do things. I'm not so I did okay for both matric and NBTs and I got in. Like it's kind of, I would say you work hard, do your NBTs, and at the same time, like I kind of, and I know it sounds funny, like I kind of like did what I had to do and I worked the hardest that I could, and I kind of like said like, okay, Hashem, like this is what I've done. But like they do say they weighed 50-50, but like I'm not sure, because some people did really badly for NBTs and still got in, and some people did really well and got in. So yeah, kind of just like do your best, I would say. And yeah.
If you like really suck at, let's say, science, what do you do?
Like both physics and chemistry, would you say?
Yeah, like I'm fine at biology, but science, nah.
So basically that's the first year, that's a first year subject. So we take physics and chemistry. You just kind of work through it. There's past papers, there's lecturers to help you. They have tutorials that they can also help you with. So it is going to be a struggle in first year, but it's definitely, you can work through it. Like the fact, if you have a back into it, I was with someone, she didn't take it in school. So she just got a tutor and her friends helped and she passed. So there is like, you can just work through it. It's not the most difficult, but it just will take more effort then, I would say.
All right,
yeah.
perfect.
If you have any other questions, you can message me. I'll put my number in the chat. And yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Like she said, Lee will put her number in the chat. And if you want to reach out to her, she's happy to chat to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you.